Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chaotic Neutral Games. And wow, have I really needed this this session? Apologies for last week. A few of us were a little run down, a little ill, and so kind of having fun and opening the door for you guys to join us would have just been being ill in front of you guys. So yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to talk a huge amount about the coronavirus, but I would be remiss not to. If for some reason I end up isolated here, I've got incredibly bad lungs, so that's entirely possible. When I'm not working, because I can do a bit of work from home, I will be cranking out more content. And there is a possibility, I'm speaking to somebody now, that the Wednesday game that I play as a player, we might move on to here temporarily as well, so that some other people can enjoy that. So, ironically, the coronavirus might actually put more content on this stream. Anyway, enough about that. We've seen how wonderful this community can be in the last week alone, as messages of support and kinship have been about, and it's because of that that we're able to bring this to you, keep smiling, and hopefully make a few of you guys smile as well. Big reminder, below us somewhere there's a button marked Discord. If you're watching this, whether you are watching this on YouTube or if you are just catching up with us now and you decide to go back to the beginning, whatever, join us. One of us. Be one of us. And join in the madness. We're looking to do a few more things, and I'll be doing some one-shots soon, a couple of months' time, where I'm going to be inviting people other than the players to join us. And mix it up a little bit as well. Change is good. Anyway, for those who don't remember, 2 weeks ago, we followed Eclipse of the Moon's personal storyline to the Hermit's Isle. Once they had managed to use their folding boat and get a crew, captained by the incredibly able Kora Yosanal, they hit landfall on the Isle and found that all of the priests of Pelor, who took this place as a hermitage, to be alone, communing only with the god of light, were all undead, and seemingly quite cooperative up to a point. Unfortunately, things turned to the worse. The zombies all started attacking, and they realised that the zombies weren't a great threat, especially with the glass cannon Glory taking them down in high numbers. But there is two beings of note. One, a disembodied voice that has started talking to them as if amused, an onlooker. And second, an undead tabaxi, dressed in very old garb and wielding a pair of knives. And the voice has identified them as Silk Whisper, apparently an old hero from tabaxi history. So we're going to rejoin the crew of the... Actually, you haven't named your folding boat. For episode 63 of the Benefactor. Welcome back, everybody, and hello to the players.
Hello.
Glad to see that everybody is well again, and I've managed to check on Campaign Lab. Thank God it keeps track of where you are in a campaign. And you're surrounded by zombies, not as many as I originally threw at you. And, yeah, you were taking them out. The last thing that happened was this undead cat-like being, well, undead tabaxi, Silk Whisper, was staring at you and trying to fill you with a strange rage. But you guys all shook it off, no problem at all. You do know, just to remind you, that Silk Whisper seems to be transfixed on Eclipse of the Moon. She's trying to kill her. Okay? And will
He's also turned.
She is currently turned, yes. And she will carry on trying to destroy Eclipse even once she gets down to 0 hit points. This is something that I'll just kind of grant you. She's trying to completely destroy Eclipse of the Moon.
And Eclipse
you do
is like,
also
why
have...
are you fighting? If I remember rightly.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Although it's cat.
Oh!
Cat version is meow 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 meow. Two zombies of note, being that some of the zombies
I'd
were
rather you angry at me than dead, darling.
You have a zombie to the right and left of you as you look at the map. One is in the building with you, behind Silk Whisper, and the other one is coming up the coastal path on the side of the island towards you. So be mindful of those because it's their turn in the initiative. So the first one is the one on the coastal path starts to shamble up the coastal path, and the one that is inside the building is going to step forward. Oh, hang on. I think that one may have been turned as well. Let me check. No, it wasn't.
He was out of range, if I remember.
Yeah, he was out of range.
He was the one speaking when he turned it.
Oh, yes. That that was the one that was speaking, but looking at it, being that your experience with undead, farewell, you know it was something speaking through the zombie. It was not the zombie speaking. Okay, so the two zombies move forward. Other than that, there's very little else. So,
do you remember all the initiatives and stuff, Simon?
oh yeah. So the next person up is actually Eclipse herself.
Well, my Roll20 is not loading properly, but if I remember, I'm right in front.
Yeah.
I've got it.
So just
Either way,
I
have
something.
a plan to keep the rest of the zombies out, so you guys just focus on the guys inside.
Okay.
Thanks.
So for you, Corinne, in around about 10 foot ahead of you, but within swinging range of Cora, is one of the zombies, and then 20 foot away from you is Silk Whisper, who is looking at you with these burning red eyes, and can't come any closer. And it's like she's hit like a force field.
Yes. Well, I was trying to talk to it, and what happened last time, Simon, can you remind me? Because I did something, I got quite a good roll. What was the response I got?
From my notes, you understood more about the fact that this is a one of the guards from the temple in which your personal storyline started. She was originally a guardian of the Temple of Nari, and so yeah, you know that this must have been a person in very high regard, because they're not just the kind of sword and shield guards. These are kind of like the agents, and she was one of these. For a
But
while,
I
you
didn't
wanted
get.
to be one
Did
yourself.
did I get through to her at all with my attempt of calming
No,
her down after?
no. If anything, between you and Farewell, your attempts so far have just triggered this mindless, destructive rage that is primarily focused on you.
Even though. Okay. I'm just my computer is being really slow. I'm trying to load everything.
Okay. Well, you can hit either Silk Whisper or the zombie, or do another action of your choice.
Yes, I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can do. Yeah, I'll. Is it dark, Simon, in there, or is it light?
Yes, it's dim light. There's
Dim
a
light.
few windows where the light is coming in quite dappled, but for the most part, it's fairly dingy.
Okay. I will use my bonus action to cast Shadow Blade.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you now have Shadow Blades.
Okay, and since it's dim light, I get advantage on the attack, and I will throw it at the zombie, I guess.
Okay, sure. The zombie's in base-to-base contact with Cora, so you do get the sneak attack.
Well, I get it anyway because it's advantage, but yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, with a 16 and an 18. 18 plus lots.
Both hits.
I assume it's just one hit. It's just one attack, but it was because
All
right. Right.
Has she frozen?
No.
Yeah, she's.
Oh.
No, I saw
What?
movement, although
Yeah.
it looks like it's locked up. I think for some reason her computer is struggling because she looks like she's moving at like 3 frames a second.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a really bad sneak attack. So that is 5, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13. 13 plus 7 is 21.
13 plus 7 is 20.
13 plus 7 is 20, and then plus 5. No, yeah, plus 5
Okay, it's
is
dead. It's dead. Right. Okay.
25.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The shadow goes up boom, and hits it, and it falls down. And as it falls down, the voice goes, "Getting rid of my resources." And as the body falls, it turns into this ethereal, shadowy body. It dissipates. At that point, Glory, you can see behind you the creature that's coming up the path also dissipates, and it turns into a shadow of itself.
Did we all hear that voice? Just to remind myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I did turn it black, but that's not going to make it look like anything, so I'm going to shade it purple instead. It is now a shade. And that's the only one that you can see.
Does that affect anything? Will it still attack us, or is it like poof, gone?
You see as it's moving forward that a blade of grass, like a long kind of pompous grass, goes through its leg. It seems to be ethereal.
Ah. I may not have a plan anymore.
I may now.
I haven't figured out how to do trans-dimensional acid yet.
I'll give you about 2 or 3 levels, and I'm sure you'll have it.
Nick, it's down to you.
Drink. Okay, hold on 1 second. Just want to double check one thing before I do anything. I'd like to hold a spell, if I may.
Sure. Are you concentrating on anything currently?
No, because the only spell I cast previous session was Turn Undead.
Sure.
Which, did the thing. I would. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I will hold as an action anti-life shell.
Mm-hmm.
And out of curiosity, noticing the things turning into shadow demons, would that give me anything that I'd be aware of based on my background and profession?
Do me a quick yeah, do me a religion check.
That's 21. Apology.
You can see that this type of transubstantiation between undead forms is something that has been done in the past. To be able to switch between a physical form that is capable of doing what you need on the material plane and a ghast form that is more resilient to damage. And whereas previously this being, whatever it is, didn't have much regard for these zombies, now it's starting to get concerned if it doesn't have any. And so it seems to have done something to make the zombies more protected. So this is something that you do know that the undead can do. It also identifies to you that this is a greater undead.
Crap. I was hoping that they weren't undead, because that really defeats the point of the spell I've just held. Oh well! Shit happened.
So yeah, all of these are lesser undead, but they're being manipulated by a greater undead that you have yet to meet.
Well, we're gonna have a really, really great shield around me that's gonna be in 10 feet, but it's gonna be really useful for everybody that doesn't have a pulse. So, yeah, sorry guys.
Oh, did you just throw an anti-life shell up?
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm
were
holding.
gonna hold it, I thought.
I am holding it, yeah, but if I've held it, then I've used it in effect, so I've burnt the.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
hoping that it turned out that they'd be actually demons infesting a host, at which point I'd be like, oh, the demons, they can't get through the shell. Oh well.
Yep.
Can we move in
okay,
and
so
out
that
of it or not?
Yeah, you're fine.
So that was your action farewell. What else would you like to do?
No, nothing else.
Okay. So, that's done, that's done, that's done. Okay. So, let's roll some dice. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. You watch as no, actually, none of you can see it. You can hear the sound of a creature getting up outside, and you're pretty sure it was one of the zombies you thought you'd taken down. And the voice goes, I wonder if you and I are going to be able to speak face to face. That would be stimulating. I will do what I can to make this so. Maybe you intrigue me. Yes, more. I want to see more. And that's that. Felicia, you can see now a spectral version of the zombie coming towards you.
The zombies walking towards us.
Mm-hmm.
We have a crazed cat that is currently not allowed to attack.
Yep.
Hmm. Closing the door would probably not be a good idea, because I'd rather see them coming.
Mm-hmm.
Is the cat still speaking?
No, at this point it's just hissing ferally at you. Before it only just managed to get one bit of tabaxi out that I do have down in my notes, is that it only managed to utter partial words.
Just give me 1 second to read up on a spell I haven't used before.
Sure.
Read it out. Read it out. What is it?
Yeah, I think this could work. Yeah. I'm gonna cast polymorph on the cat.
Ooh.
Sure. Okay. What are you polymorphing it to?
Hmm.
Come on, it's the adventurer's best friend. Every D&D group polymorphs the big bad evil guy into a chicken. It's a
Honestly, maybe not a chicken,
chicken.
but I kind of want to make him a duck.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
The cat is gonna go duck.
Let me just see. I don't think it's got much in the way of resistance to this. Yep. Yep. Okay. Okay. And that has. Yep. Yep. Okay. So this is a wisdom saving throw, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You watch as this this feral
Simon,
undead.
I am using extended spell because that is a metamorph I now have. Or well,
Okay.
the magic thing. So he's gonna be a duck for 2 hours if he fails.
Yep. So you see as this undead feline monstrosity with glowing eyes goes, and then there's this pop, and you hear wah 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 with glowing red eyes. There's a little duck that is technic. Ooh. I need to look something up. The metaphysics of this is going to be fun.
Quick,
So
somebody shove it in the bag of holding.
Well,
It's already undead. It won't die.
yes, it will, because that's what I'm checking now. Is was it polymorph? Okay. Okay. New form can be any beast whose challenge rating is equal to or less than target. So, well done. A duck is less than this. Target assumes the hit points of the new form. Let's see. All of her gear has melted into the new form. The duck cannot wield any equipment. It's not what I was looking for.
Quack.
Crack.
Quack. Or if it's
Please.
a French duck, it goes quan quan.
True.
Or if it's a cockerel, coquelicot. It retains its alignment and personality. There's the quintessential point is what I need here. Okay, I am going to rule that it is both an undead and a beast. Therefore, turn undead still counts.
Yes, it's a frayed duck.
So there's a duck that's just kind of pressing against a wall of pure will, and because it's a duck, it is also hissing. So just this duck with glowing red eyes at you, trying to kill
Oh, look
Eclipse.
how cute.
Yep.
Quick, somebody shove it in the bag. So,
I'm not grabbing it.
I technically can't. It's afraid of me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cora, you're next in turn. Don't you have hold person?
It's
Does
not
that
a
work? It's a
person.
beast now.
It's not a person anymore.
True.
In fact, as an undead, I think you got a hold monster on it.
I was gonna hit it, but clearly that's not a thing we're trying to do. I don't know.
No, we're shoving it in a bag of holding.
Why? Won't it
So,
just turn
Kate.
back into a cat? Yeah. Right.
There's
So yeah.
there's just a zombie at your feet that's turned into this shadowy form and it doesn't look like it's going to be getting back up. It's kind of wisping away and petering away. But you have got a very angry duck on the top of the table
That
that
still
it's
is
trying to
hexed
launch
by me
itself.
as well.
Yes, it is. Yes.
But I now don't want to hit it because I'm like, right.
1 point of damage against this duck will bring it back.
Yeah. I don't want us to get.
Oh, come on. Surely it has more hit points than a kitten.
Can we not?
No, it
kill
has
this
exactly the same.
thing?
It's a duck.
Cora would like to move. Because she wants to head to this place over here. So she's gonna just.
Yep,
Oh,
move
no,
it up.
Now I can't. Hold on. 1 minute. Doink.
Sure.
God, I was gonna hit this thing.
With the door open,
Is it open?
you
Oh,
can
right.
see that inside there seems to be some sort of stairwell going up, and you can see a cannon. A honest-to-God black powder cannon.
Cora gets excited and then
Do it.
forgets.
Do
It's
it.
like, nope. It's like, oh,
Do
can I turn this around?
Do it.
Oh, what am I doing here? Why are we not
Do it.
killing this cat?
We can use it for information.
Farewell
take
just
out
point.
a
Farewell just
normal
points at Eclipse.
bag out of your bag of holding and put it over its head and then shove it into the bag of holding.
Are there are crates around, right, in this room?
Crates, barrels, yeah. Some of them quite old, some of them looking a little weak, but some of them that seem to have stood up well to age.
And this
Simon,
is. Oh, I can't get to it, I suppose.
please change the portrait into a duck.
I don't think I've got a duck.
Yeah, that's good.
You should have a duck.
Yes, because that's the encounter that I want to make one day, is the 2000 duck encounter.
Yes?
Encounters have been based on more silly things.
Can I just actually, I know I've already moved, but can I, as I move through, can I actually just grab the chicken by the legs and just hold it up and then walk towards the door as I was?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Kate? Apparently I had to turn it into a duck.
Yeah, okay, right. Oh yes, it's a duck, not a chicken. But either way, can I slightly recon my move and as I move through, grab the duck by the feet and lift it like a chicken and walk towards the door.
Can I have an athletics or animal handling check? Your choice.
Not a sleight of hand. Let's see. What do I
Actually,
got here?
I will allow sleight of hand because she is, for one thing, on the table and you're below her eye line. And the second thing is she's so transfixed on Eclipse of the Moon. Yeah, I'll allow that. Because you're going to overpower her once you've got your hands on her. It's getting your hands on her. So I'll allow a sleight of hand. Go on.
Oh, that wasn't a great roll, but my sleight of hand isn't too shabby. So it's 11.
11. I shall roll an acrobatics check or a duck.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, we can hear.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Can't see you, but can hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to stop, but yes,
So-
I was trying to say this entire time about the duck. So we have this thing called the Duck Dragon Dichotomy in one
Oh
of
my
our
god, you're not going
games.
to go through the whole of Quint's thing, are you?
No, I'm just gonna say it. I was gonna mention it briefly because it's hilarious and he would be very proud of us.
Good.
Go on.
But yes, it's essentially ducks are good, dragons are bad. People turn either into ducks or dragons depending if they're good or bad. This is entire thing.
Yeah, in our Wednesday game, there's a guy called Quint. He doesn't believe that people can die. He believes that when we put them in the ground, they are effectively put in the ground like seeds, and grow up as ducks or dragons, depending whether they've been good or bad. And he's got a whole diagram that makes it go around and stuff, but it's something that's way too complicated to appreciate on stream. But yes, Josh, if you're out there, you're both crazy and we love you. So, you watch Cora as you go up, and this duck is flapping about and flailing about. And as you go and put your hands on the legs, the duck does some sort of strange somersault, flapping and generally flailing around, and slips out of your grasp. You got defeated by a duck.
Yeah, I go, sod the duck, and I carry on and stand where and head towards the door.
Yep, my apologies. I had 13 on the dice.
I will also try a thing.
Do the thing.
Which is a new spell I've not used yet. And I will...
Does that spell take a bonus action or an action?
A bonus action. And
bonus action is allowed, yeah.
It's called Cloak of Flies, but I think we'll spin it to
Oh.
be more like little wispy kind of fey kind of creature things. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Basically, yeah, I cast this kind of crazy sort of like shroud of evilly looking fey, or maybe they don't look evil, but they're just sort of fey things that whisper around me.
They would probably look quite energetic. Some of them joyful, some of them rageful.
Yeah.
So you could probably have a bunch of really angry-looking brownies, like the Nakmukfeagles, spilling around your feet, and then you'd probably have summer fairies just flying around, and like motes like will-o'-the-wisps, but they're probably like pollen spirits around you.
Cool.
If that appeals.
Sure, yeah. So it's a 5-foot radius around me, and a creature that starts its turn in the aura takes 6 poison damage. So I assume that also counts for allies. So I'll probably just shout out, "Don't come too close," to my friends.
How far did you say?
5 foot.
5 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because we don't want to damage the duck.
And as you say that, yeah, one of the Feagles at your feet goes, "Aye, we bite!" And you can see that you've just kind of balling his fists up and kind of dancing about as if he's about to whack you one.
I was
yep,
happy
you
because
have,
he got to have eagles.
yeah. I've loved Terry Pratchett since I was 9 years old. Yeah, of course I love the fact I can have Feagles. So yeah, you activate your summer cloak, and you're now surrounded by protective elements of the Feywild. So
I could, and I love it.
the duck. It is the duck's turn. The duck is going to rage against Farewell, and it's going to thrash about and hiss. Feathers go flying everywhere, which is only dangerous to people like me. And yep, that's its turn. Now, some other things happen. So first of all, where's that not? Let me do that. Oh, because that's no. So Eclipse, a strange purple spirit comes through the wall, and it's coming towards you with a passive look on its face. Looks pretty much the same as the chainmail and dirty tabarded clerics that you saw in zombie form, but this time it's just a kind of a purple spectral outline, and it's going to reach out and touch you. Or it's going to attempt to anyway. And so that is nope. It misses.
My anti-life shield goes off to absolutely no effect.
Yep. Absolutely.
As soon as one appears, I'm now currently maintaining concentration on that.
That's useless.
Glory, the same thing happens coming up to you, and that's going to try to touch you as well. That's a natural 20 on 23, as
Is
the
that a
hand...
dex saving throw?
No, it's just directly against your
If it's a
AC.
crit, if it's
Oh,
crit
yeah.
damage, I'll cancel.
Okay, you cancel the crit. Good to know.
You can't. You used your reaction.
Oh, I did. Yeah, no, you're right.
Oh,
Shit,
yep,
I
that's
can't.
quite right.
Well remembered.
But yeah, okay, that's fine. Glory, this strange spirit just reaches its hand through your arm. It just passes through your arm, and you don't feel any kind of pain or anything like that. But suddenly you feel a lot more tired. It takes 7 points of necrotic damage.
Ow.
Mm-hmm. And I think that is that. Yeah, and that's all that they do. The voice does then say, I'll just leave you with these two for now. See if you can get my understanding. And they're like, okay, this doesn't make sense. What they're saying doesn't make sense. So you kind of, by the drama in the voice, it's almost like this person's trying to be a bit of a Bond villain and try to be bragging about it all, but instead it's talking about gain my understanding. It's just, yeah. Some of the language is a bit disjointed and doesn't make sense. So, first up is Corinne.
Well, thankfully, psychic damage should do very well on anything that's spectral. So, stab.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Go for the stab.
With advantage because dim light. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Natural 17 plus, I think it's plus 10. At this
Yep,
point.
hits.
That's better. Sex. 2, 8 plus 9 är 27.
I'm going to make you a
27
spreadsheet.
plus 27 plus 5 är 32.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 32 points of psychic damage.
It is dead.
Good.
Again.
Yes.
Um,
You watched this time as what seemed to be a very small amount of energy holding this thing together just gets completely dissipated. And yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. I shout out to this voice. Do you really want just to talk? That's as much as I can.
I'm compelled.
What-
But I would like to talk before the inevitable happens. You are the best chance that I see in my future of peace. I do hope that I don't end up devouring you all.
I would like to set you free.
Then we have a common goal, although I cannot help you achieve it.
Right.
He's a nice boss villain. Nick, what are you doing, dude?
Like, oh, that's weird. And I turn around to the other spectral one and I throw a guiding bolt at.
Okay, roll to hit.
Well, if it's undead,
22.
holy damage should do good.
22 hits. Roll for damage.
Do I add anything? No. 16 points of radiant damage.
Sure. You watch as the divine light hits it and completely obliterates it. There's not even wisps disappearing like with the other two. This thing just completely gets destroyed.
Yeah, that's what farewell is supposed to do.
Okay. So that's you, Nick.
Yeah, I've got nothing else I want to do. Well, hold on. I'm just going to move, so carry on.
Okay.
I'm not actually stood on the table. I'm actually just stood next to the table.
Okay. Ooh, need to check something. Does that do? No. Okay. Cool. Right. So you hear the voice say, "That should be the last of them. I need the others." So, Glory, what are you doing?
Well, honestly, I did my thing last turn, and I was hoping that one of the dexterous people in our group would grab the fucking duck.
The duck is currently trying to kill me, so I don't know if grabbing it is the best idea for me.
No, but I'm pretty sure that both Farewell and Cora have higher dexterity than Glory.
Well, at the moment, it's
Just
pinned
ignore
against
the
the wall
duck.
because it can't go anywhere closer to Nick.
Oh, that's...
Yep.
Well, I want to grab the duck. It's currently being pinned against the wall by Farewell, and it's looking at Corinne, so...
Sure. Give me your choice between athletics, animal handling, or sleight of hand.
I'll do animal handling, because I have a +1 there.
Go on, be all you can be. Grab the duck. Grab the duck!
That's actually not bad. 15.
Yeah, beats my 10. So yeah, you pick up the duck by the legs, and now that you have successfully grappled the duck, you have probably somewhere in the region of twice its strength, so you can do whatever you want with it.
I'm gonna shove it in a bag of holding.
Sure.
It will, Felicia, if you do that, you will kill it, or you will reduce its hit points, and then the thing that comes out will be too big for the bag and be spat out. So, not recommended to put it in there.
Aight? Then let's just tie the legs together. Then that way it will sit still until we are done.
Sure. You're gonna trust the duck.
I will. I've got 50 foot of hempen rope.
I
And
will
as it's
just
scared
hold
of
up
me-
the duck to Farewell to tie the legs. And do
Assuming now
whatever.
that we're not
Okay.
working in initiative, I will come and hog tie a duck.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
suspend initiative for a second, but yeah, you realize that this rope is probably around about 10 times the diameter, if not 30 times the diameter of the duck's legs. And it's at that point that I'm going to give you a natural 20 on all of your intelligence rolls as you spot the various chests around the room, which are basic clothing chests. And you're like, yep, that'll keep the duck. In fact, I can see an iron key in one of them. As long as the key turns in the lock, even when the duck transforms, it's still gonna have to fight its way out of a
Can I
oak chest.
can I find heavy things to put on top of it and around the chest?
There are beds, there are other chests, there are barrels, and as you've already said, you've got 50 foot of hempen rope if you really want to tie this thing shut.
Oh yeah, and if we've got time and everybody's agreeable, I suggest that I drag this out to the boat. and then what we can do is have some like chain shot or chains put on it, and we just throw it in the fucking water and be done with it.
We could just
Sounds
kill
like a
it.
plan.
This seems like such an elaborate thing. Shouldn't we go
Oh no,
after
it
this
turns
voice?
back if you kill it.
Yeah,
It
but
has
then
been
we
a
kill
very
that.
slow week, and just let
So-
me have it. Just let me have this one thing. I don't ask for much.
Okay.
I just really
You
want.
do your thing, but you're gonna take like 20 minutes to do this when there is clearly
Yes.
a big bad to actually deal with.
Nah.
While
He
they piss
obviously
about with that, I'm gonna
wants to
start
talk
looting the
to
room.
us, Cora. He can wait
Okay.
another
Okay.
20 minutes.
I will not
Come
drag it
looting.
out to the pier, but I will lock the duck with Glory's help into the chest. I'll wrap the rope around, secure it tightly. I'll pile some stuff on it, and then I look at the chest, and there's that look, that singular look from Farewell of just, I'll be back for you.
Okay.
You're not done.
As you're doing this, the voice doesn't shut up. It's kind of it says only a few things as it's clearly watching you, very confused, and it goes, "I didn't expect you to do this. She's really not going to like that, you know. She was kind of hoping for this moment." Oh, and you're tying it shut. Okay, I must admit,
I'm gonna kind of like be like this to the
happening.
voice, being like,
and
Let the cleric have some fun, okay?
there's a kind of incredulous, have you done this before, kind of thing. And then, as you're there,
It's
just
not
kind of going,
worse than when we
so
kidnapped
much
a
worse.
talking cat.
You kidnapped a talking cat.
do you make a habit of turning people into small animals?
No,
Abducting
this is
them?
not the first time,
It
actually.
seems- It seems like a very strange specialist subject.
Oh, no. I specialize in acid. This is a new thing I'm trying out.
Now, acid, I
So,
think. is boring.
was she waiting on her big moment and big fight, but now we've taken that from her?
Yeah.
Or what was that the
Yeah.
entire
Are you
thing?
asking the voice?
Yes.
He goes, yes, she was rather hoping for this moment. The fact when she first saw you, she knew that she wouldn't be able to hold on for very long and thought this would be the end. But apparently her time on this plane of existence has just got a little bit longer and a lot more odd. She has spent a lot of time just staring out at sea for the last 10 years. But yes, I think this is the first time she's ever been a duck. And at this point, this very menacing and slightly mysterious voice has become completely conversational.
do I find anything in the room? Can I roll an investigation?
Yes, investigation is what you need to roll.
Okay.
You know, for a malevolent voice, he's become awfully genial.
Yeah. 22 on investigation.
I'll answer you as him in a minute, but 22 in investigation. Yep. So on 22, the weapons rack, you do notice that of all the pole arms that are there, one of the pole arms, even though the wood on the shaft needs to be replaced, the tip of one of the spears has some arcane runes on it. So that definitely looks like it's worth a take. The board game that's in the middle of the room is now an antique. You have a feeling it was probably old when this place was looted 10 years ago, but it seems to have aged quite well. And oddly seems to be, other than the magical item that you think you just picked up, the most expensive thing in the room. There are various holy symbols and things like that you found. You haven't found any sign of the holy symbols being corrupted like before. You don't see any that seem to be different. In fact, they are all made out of what seem to be carved driftwood. And finally, you find a horn of black powder.
Yeah, that's going in the bag of holding. As well as whatever else I
Sure.
can fit in, and the rest I'll come back for later. I'll make a little pile. Like,
As many cannonballs as you want to carry?
Did they go
All
in the
of
bag
them.
of hat holding and therefore they're light? Like, as in...
Yes. When you put them in the bag of holding, they will become light again. I don't know how much you have in the bag of holding, but there is a limit of how many cannonballs you can put in there.
Well, I'll just put 3. And,
Yep, 3 you can definitely get in there.
And again,
yeah.
think, I'll come back for that. We can plant them on the boat later once we've dealt with whatever we're doing.
The cannons seem to be in fairly good nick.
Yeah,
If
I'm
you
just
can
like
somehow
eyeing
get
up
the cannons onto the
everything.
boat.
Be like, we could take this, we could take this.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they deal with
There's
it.
So we
no,
are
the
becoming
observable black
pirates.
powder is the stuff you
Yes.
have in the horn. So you have maybe, looking at it, you probably have about 10 shots from a cannon. Or this would keep you going with a rifle for a very long time, a musket for a very long time. But you'd say there's probably about 10 cannon shot in here. Yeah, but all the cannons themselves seem to be fairly good order.
I
With
like
that level of investigation as well, you do manage to find that there's some scratches on the floor underneath the stairs that go up. So if I reveal the rest of this,
Yeah, I was going to say I would
this
peek
bit
into
here?
the thing, be desperate to want to go up the stairs and just waiting on everyone else going, come on,
yeah,
come
well,
on.
it's at the bottom of the stairs that you find the powder horn, and you do see that there's a kind of scraping where the dust has settled. There's some scrape marks underneath the stairs, and you have a feeling you found a secret door.
Guys,
Oh,
guys,
oh,
come on,
oh.
hurry up with the duck. There's a
Secret
door
tunnel.
down here, and there's interesting. There's cannonballs.
Secret-
Okay, just hurry. Yeah,
So
Glory, look
if
at
we
this.
each take the maximum amount of cannonballs, we could sell those, or
We-
just keep them and shoot other people as we sail.
When we're done here, we clean this place out. We can potentially take the cannons on the boat, but we can't do that right now. There's kind of bigger things we should be doing, guys.
Yes.
But look.
Yes,
look
I
at
mean,
these
I do have some pressing business to attend to.
Well,
It's
why don't
mostly
you
your
just
death.
come
But
down here and
I-
talk to us.
In
Properly.
what way? I mean, you're a disembodied voice that only started talking that when we came here. I mean, we're probably the first people to come here in like years. What can you possibly have that's that busy?
really, it's just you. You are my to-do list today. But I'm
Before you go, I do want to know about this duck woman. What was she a part of the Hearth God for Jonathan, or what?
This is all rather impersonal. There's a door. There's a door in the tower. Instead of going up, it requires a little bit of extra strength. There should be a crowbar somewhere around here. If you can use that, or maybe one of the loading pins.
Farewell pulls the crowbar out of his bag of holding and goes, "Don't need one," and just rams it into the side of the door and just goes to town.
Good. I'll explain when you get down here. Oh, this has not gone at all how I expected it to. And
No shit.
and with that, you guys head down a set of roughshod stairs, and as you go down the stairs, you notice on the walls are names carved into the stone. You go down into the darkness, and before you is a tunnel underneath the island. I mentioned it 2 weeks ago, but this map is from Neutral Party. Get onto their Patreon, start supporting Neutral Party, use their amazing maps. Believe me, you will not be disappointed. I never am. So you go
Glory,
into
do you want to use light, or should I?
Oh, not a problem. Glory just snaps her fingers and summons some dancing lights.
Sure. You go through and you can see that the tunnel leads into a slightly wider area. And as you move forward, the area comes into view. The first part of the tunnel seems to be a preparation area. You can see that there are kind of hooks that are on the walls, and on two of the hooks are these battered-looking robes. There is a smell of stale sweat once you get close to the robes, and you can see that there are boxes to one side where chalk marks are still barely visible on them, where they have people's name, and the chalk marks themselves seem to be that people have got rid of their possessions, put on these robes, and then gone into the next chamber.
I was going to say, what are the? You said that when we walked down here, that the corridor was filled with names. Were
Yes.
they written in a common tongue so we could read them all, or were they? Written
Yes,
in a
they were
particular
carved
way?
in almost like people carve with a sharp object into stoneworks to graffiti. They have put their names in these walls, but you get a sense of extra solemnity as they've been doing this. It's like almost like it's a rite of passage. You're getting that kind of vibe from it all. You're
To
hyper
know,
aware.
like Johnny was here.
No,
that
just
sort of stuff.
names. Just names. Full names as well. So,
Eclipse?
and you can tell.
Any names I recognize from?
No, you names of all different races. You do catch two Tabaxi names. You can see Dreamer of the River as one of them. You've never heard of them. And the second one is Gazer of the Moon, which point you're like, oh, they've got the same surname. But yeah, that's all it is, and
It's not even a surname, it's just ending of my name, because my
Yeah.
parents and all my siblings have different, like,
Exactly,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah. So yeah, this seems to be that everybody who's gone down this tunnel has carved their name in the wall.
Is this like a pilgrimage, Eclipse? Was this place a place that people came to for something?
Did I find anything of that in my studies or at all, or was it just
Yeah, I was
As
going to
part
ask,
of your
is this...
setup, there was I did mention that they would go into a cave underneath the island to take the light into darkness, and to completely cut themselves off from Pelor so they could find the light within themselves. But this is quite a harrowing vigil that they would do, and some people would pass through it, and in game turns they would gain levels of cleric very quickly. Other people would come out of it and they would pretty much quit trying to become a cleric at all. It's kind of like a crash course for being a cleric, and that is just to go through this arduous process. And some people just went back to their regular lives. Other people came out stronger and able to wield the light of Pelor that they carry with them. And they would go on to do great things as well. They would go on to be adventurers, effectively taking the light into the dark places. So the Shadowfell, the Underdark, places like that.
I will relay all of this to Cora and the rest of them.
Okay. Looking around Farewell, you can see that this is a ritual preparation area. There's you can see various jugs and bowls where the washing of feet would happen. There is a kind of a drink that they would have, and there would be a kind of a last meal, because presumably fasting would be part of this. And then you can see where Cora's icon is going into the darkness. There is an archway that is beautifully carved, and over the archway it says in the common tongue, "Take the light into the darkness."
Yeah, I create my own light. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Eclipse. When this Heart of Druid was there anything about piety or having to take some sort of object to strengthen its light against the darkness, or what? You'll forgive me with all the frivolities and all the other stuff that we laugh about, I can't quite remember what type of man Juridan was, and what his role was in all of this.
Was he? He was a champion of Palo, or wasn't?
He was known at the height of his conquest. He was known as the Burning One, and he would be a magnificent figure in gilded armor, charging onto battle. This lion-headed tabaxi, roaring, holding a flaming sword aloft, as golden light would spill around his mane.
But he doesn't have the Genghis Khan sort of, in effect, that we all have part of our DNA thanks to Genghis Khan, because, you know, of the other
No,
things
he was. I call him the Genghis Khan of this world, but he was actually quite pious for the first, I guess, 5/6 of his campaign, and then at the end of his conquest campaign, that's when accounts start to go a little kind of weird. Some people say that it is PR because he got so many enemies that they were just besmirching his good name. Other people say that somehow they managed to corrupt this pious and proud and honourable individual.
Do you remember when we were in the Pride Temple? That seemed to be, he was in a place of flagellation where they would beat themselves to repent from their sins, to suffer so that they may become pure again, which is absolutely the wrong way to do it, by the way. You should never do
yeah,
that
the
sort of
place
thing.
with those god awful robes that hurt you. Oh,
Exactly,
those were
exactly.
ugly.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And now we find ourselves in a place where you must take a journey into solitude. So there was a place where you stripped away your pride through pain to become holy, perhaps. And now we're in a place where you must strip yourself of all belongings to walk into darkness to become holy again. I wonder what this one's sin is. Any ideas?
Yes. It's Jordan.
Why don't
was...
you enter and find out?
What shall we call
That's very
you?
rude.
What shall we call you?
Yeah, it's kind of rude just referring to you as voice in our head.
I suppose introduction is in order. I am Ikathos.
Hello, Ikathos. Do I know the name Ikathos?
Give me a history check. It's high.
Do I get advantage because obsession?
Yep. Yeah, your obsession definitely applies.
Yes.
18 for me.
Ooh.
No, 18 doesn't do it.
Dirty 20.
I touch Eclipse and I give her guidance.
Oh, you said it
No.
just as she was saying 20. Roll a d4 and add it, Corinne.
23.
Okay.
Is
for-
that with your ridiculous thingamagogs? Do you have double proficiency of something stupid in this?
I don't have any. I'm not proficient in history at all, but I have a +4 to intelligence. I rolled a 16. So.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. With the amount that you've scored, you know that Ikathos, was a powerful warrior under Jordan the Great. He elevated to the point of general and was so trusted by Jordan that Ikathos was sent further afield, whereas his other generals were set around him to make this great war machine, Ikathos was sent out to places that Juradan assumed were going to be future threats, or threats that would kind of flank him and cut him off from his potential retreat back to Ostran. And so it was his job to travel faster and further and take out threats. As such, Ikathos didn't have a major army like the others. What he had was small specialized units that he coordinated. He was a hunter.
Oh, you're Ikathos! Hello, it's a great honor to meet you.
I
assume he's one of Juradan's guys.
Yes, he was a general. He was one of his most trusted generals, and he was sent out with a small specialized strike force to take out threats.
Oh, so he was an assassin.
Of a kind.
No, he
I
wasn't
was a
sneaky with
hunter.
it.
Oh.
It's a great honor to meet you. You're such a highly respected general. I'm Eclipse of the Moon, and I am very happy that.
Wait, child. Come. Before you call such honor and give me such supplication, come and look me in the eyes.
Okay.
You step out of the preparation chamber through a small corridor and find yourself in a much larger chamber that would be strangely cavernous, that feels like it's greater than its size, and it would be completely in darkness were it not for Glory's lights. As Glory's dancing lights fly in, suddenly there's the glitter of water, and it's a bit of a strange thing because the water seems to be of maybe shoulder height to some of you, or above Cora's head. And then when the lights suddenly light up the room, you see before you this.
Oh.
In the middle of the room is what seems to be a small pond of water, but the water stands up around about 5 foot high. Sat in the middle of this pond of water that's held together in some sort of telekinetic fish tank is a large creature that seems to be mostly made up of tentacles and fin. It has a large toothy maw, and you can see that there are 3 bloodshot eyes, vertical. 3, one on top of the other. The body itself seems to be lifeless, completely dead. The pale flesh seems to be completely devoid of any circulatory system. Farewell, who's seen a lot of dead bodies, kind of sees this look of rigor mortis. And it's only when one of these bloodshot, slightly swelled and roomy eyes just very slowly inches over to you, where you realize that this creature is still alive, if not at least animated. And the voice that echoes around the hall now says,
Are you still honored, Eclipse of the Moon?
Very much so, yes.
You are a very strange tabaxi. But then, it has been so very long since I've been able to refer to myself as such.
What have you been turned into?
The creature that I now inhabit was known as an aboleth.
You
It
Arcana?
was...
Please.
Yep, absolutely.
Corinne knows what it is.
Yep.
I will already have
Say
you
what
look
it
out
is.
in
has
these.
never seen one before.
Nope.
Farrell
Oh,
has
yeah.
his book out
That
and
is
is
a 25.
Okay.
sketching what the creature looks like into his.
Sure. So aboleth are they're considered to be aquatic creatures, but that's possibly one of the most common misperceptions. Based on your role, you get a little more insight. The aboleth come from the far realms and are thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years old. Even the youngest would be eons old. They are immortal, and they normally are very subtle and intelligent. Stories that would be out there, and if you rolled low enough, I would have given you misinformation. The aboleth of Tales are these slavering monsters that have psychic abilities, able to enslave you, all of that jazz. What it doesn't talk about is their incredible intelligence. You had a very intriguing lesson where Aunt Insight would go on about them at length, almost as if they were her favorite pet, and that she would love to see one day, although she did point out that if she ever met one, she'd be fighting for her life. They do favor water because water is something that they can utilize. The life that is in water, even the microscopic life, is something that they can turn to their will. They can make the water contain a lot of their magic as well, and they can use it as a transmitter for their power. Any source of water as well is just something that's just generally useful for them. Water is a very useful arcane component for them. The other thing about aboleth is that they can create thralls, and that's what you think you've been fighting up until now. But the thralls that you know of can only breathe water, and they don't turn into ghosts. Also, the aboleth that you have had described to you have been a variety of colors, from an inky black to like a vibrant purple with either spots or kind of dorsal stripes. There's and they are normally very subtle. They don't normally they normally hide in the dark places of the world. They're normally in the Underdark or the very deep sea, or they'll go into the other planes of. They'll normally try to stay away from Mundus because there's not much here for them, and the only ones that are in Mundus have normally got, as I say, deep sea layers where they will provide their machinations from afar. The most famous aboleth reference that you've got is an aboleth that tried to take over a remote coastal town by appearing at night, creating thralls, and then going back down into the depths again, and then trying to use those thralls to somehow intimidate and mentally bend other people who weren't going to become thralls, and then kind of start an empire from the waves. That was incredibly short-lived, and it was the deputation that took it down. So the mercenary police force of Valeria ended up taking out that particular aboleth. That aboleth wasn't considered to be particularly intelligent compared to the others, and the others, they're very much kind of masterminds that don't really do overt things like this. But you are noticing with the score that you've got that this aboleth is different in more than a few ways, in appearance, and also you're getting the same vibe that Farewell has. This aboleth is dead, and Ikathan has already said that he now inhabits the body. So, bit of a lore dump. Sorry about that.
Did you kill it? The body,
yes.
I mean.
Yes. This was my final hunt.
A fine hunt
So-
indeed.
So
It
how
is
did
my
we end
greatest
up-
disgrace.
Go on.
Was it not worthy of fighting, or not worthy of killing?
It was my greatest challenge. I suppose that is the point. You
But
see,
why is it disgracing as your greatest challenge?
because I should not have fought it. At least, not when I did. As
How's
the Burning
how's
One
that?
started to change, as his inspiring speeches and great plans for the future started turning into paranoid rants and cruel mockery, I should have known. I thought it was just the fame getting to him. That if the rest of us started to rise, he would have to up his game, I believe is the phrase, and be the king that we sought him out to be. That's at least the excuse I gave myself. But I was young and stupid and drunk on the pleasures of victory myself. I should have looked at the threats that lay in his advisors, in his very bedchamber. But no, I had to be as famous as the great Juradan, the Burning One. And so I sought out this creature, sought it out, and baited it, told it that Juradan was coming for it, that we had detected it with all the power that we had gained, those that we had conquered. And so it had no choice but to seek me out. But I was ready. I was waiting. And it was on the nearby islands that I had set my trap. Large ballista with hooks and chains. We pulled it and splayed it between two islands. And then, on many ships that we rode straight into it, ships tipped with barbed spears that cut into its flesh and held us fast against its body, that we jumped upon it and started hewing away at its body. We sang with the battle that day. We sang so loud and felt like gods, because we needed to be gods. How else to be seen his shadow? How else to be compared to the Bright One? He who was touched by the gods themselves, though unknown to us in that moment, forsaken.
Forsaken
What happened
how?
to Juradan? Yes, what happened to Juradan? Why did he go off the deep end, so to say?
To my shame, I did not know. I saw the symptoms, but did not know. I went and sought greater and greater prey to make my name greater, but instead all I did was just feed his ego. He saw every foe that I slew as a sign that the gods were still with him, even when they were not. It was my stupidity, my need to have what he had, to be who he was, that helped blind him. And then it was too late. I am a creature of shame with only one purpose, one duty left to me. And once we finish this conversation, I shall have to devour you, as the Geas demand. You shall not leave
yes.
this chamber
Well,
alive.
let's keep talking and then.
I do apologize.
So, can you tell me what happened to him? What you saw there was. You said there was something about him that changed. He changed from being a champion of Pillar, was it? The burning one, but then changed. How? Why?
He stepped away from Pelor, which is why I found this place to protect me, to allow me to be bound to do my duty. As I say, I was further afield. I would turn up with the head of some great creature. There would be a triumph. There would be a feast, and then my king, my brother in arms, the man who I had loved since a child, would go off with his advisors to plot their next stratagem. And I can only presume be corrupted even more.
So his advisor
I do not know
corrupted
enough.
him.
But if by some chance you defeat me, maybe you could know more. Maybe you could finally put him to rest. You see,
I
he
can
stepped
break your
away from
chaos.
Taylor. Say that again, Nick?
I can break your Gaius.
If only it was a simple guess. But the souls of many were sacrificed to set it in place. I fear that it is not something that one man can do.
The DM's not gonna let you do it.
I have both Greater Restoration and Remove Curse prepared. I was kind of expecting you to get caught with a Gaius, if I'm honest with you, outside of the game. But I do have those prepared.
This is not the regular guess spell. But if you want to try, you can certainly try. I'm not going to tell you if it'll succeed. I'm not going to tell you if it'll fail. But he is giving you information that many souls were sacrificed in order to set this gaze upon him.
No, what I was say. So, you think his advisors went and corrupted him? You said also about his lover, something about a bed chamber.
Leilani! She was no champion of mine. Presumably straight from the temple. A silk walker herself. Not like Silk Whisper. My poor Silk Whisper. She fought with such grace. She was an artist, now bound into that same form, fueled by her shame, her spirit twisted. Do destroy her, please.
Yeah, let's not leave her as a duck in a chest. That doesn't seem right.
I can only hope that you'll survive me to be able to do so. I thought that when you would come, or whoever would come, that they would leave Silk Whisper to peace before being devoured by me.
Well, we will try our very, very best, I promise, not to get devoured by you. And if you try your best to not devour us, then we might have a good chance.
I am bound to do what I am to do, as I have been for hundreds of years, bolstered by the souls that trapped me in this form. My shame allowed me to die and occupy this vessel. I am a living, if you can call this life, a living vault. That which you seek is within my gizzard. If you do defeat me, cut me open and you will find what you desire. Eclipse of the moon. I know what you follow.
Jar. Yes, that was my final question. do you know what the Heart of Jordan is?
I have nothing about the heart of my master. I can tell you that it was true once, and then turned.
Give me an insight check.
So someone else also do it, please. Because I got an 8.
I was going to say, is that open to everybody, or is it just...
I will allow 2 dice.
Okay. Okay, I will go.
Hmm.
22.
Yeah, you've got Nick that he didn't understand the question. When she said, what is the heart of Duradan?
He took it literally.
He took it literally.
She meant an item. It's an item that she's looking for. It's called the Heart of Duradan, not actually what was in his heart. Although, that'd actually be quite interesting to know considering the path that he went down. Do you know where he was buried? Or did you die before him?
I died shortly after. When we felt him fall, our shame, our curse fell upon us. And we paid our penance.
Who cursed you?
We cursed ourselves. We were separated from the gods by our folly. Believing ourselves above them, we eschewed their protection, and yet gained in power. Be aware of this. To be separated from the gods is to walk a path of absolute chaos. To gain in power without purpose can lead you to ruin. You may find yourself one day, but wishing for nothing more. Feel your last thought, your last breath, before you pass through the mortal gate.
And you can see the kind of roomy eyes look towards you all with a kind of longing, as much as you can tell a person that's got 3 major eyes, 4 minor eyes, by the way, but the minor eyes are set in their location.
How was
3
his
major eyes?
How was his name pronounced again?
Ikathan. Ikathos. Sorry, Ikathos.
I sort of give Eclipse that look of. Is there anything else you want to ask? You know, that sort of. I think because he's beginning to wind down. And then there's one thing I wanted.
Ikathos, if you truly want us to put you to rest, before we have to fight, is there anything you can tell us about your abilities or anything that we should watch out for?
I'm afraid I'm bound to not tell you. I am not allowed to aid you in any way, by thought or by deed. But I am hoping you're up to the task. I will, however, point out 2 things. If you do survive this, and you're able to destroy Silk Whisper, you may want to avail yourself of her knife. Also, within my body, not just what you seek, but my body, my old body, now just a skeleton, but also my blade, still within its scabbard. It is a fast and cruel blade, but one that may be of use to you. And he looks at Farewell.
Farewell and knives, apparently.
4 swords.
He sees your shield and your your chainmail and has made an assumption.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, plate
Um,
mail now. I'm actually wearing plate thanks to.
Oh, plate, yeah. So you are the most warrior-looking one of all of them, and he's like, yeah, that should be good for you.
I am Ikathon. I am a servant of the Raven Queen. It is my duty to help those find rest and rejoin the cycle.
Yes.
And I feel for the longest time you have been denied that. And
Yes.
so, in this moment, our blade shall be sharp, our steel will be quick, and our radiance will shine through. And I touch Eclipse's tabaxi lash knife, and I cast Holy Weapon on it.
Okay. Noted.
Ooh.
He doesn't see that as an aggressive act, and he says, I await the cascade. Strike your first blow, but then be warned. I will attack with all the fury that this body possesses, and all of its abilities.
Okay. Do we go
Don't
for a
mind
break?
if I do. Yes, let's go for a break first.
Yes.
Yes. Cliffhanger.
I need more coffee.
All right, we will see all you guys in about 10 minutes then.
Oh, you have no idea what you have done.
See you later.
We're back.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the extra delay. Apparently, I can't even make a cup of tea without screwing up a bit. But I have tea now. That is the major thing. I have tea. When we left off, you guys were talking quite jovially to what appears to be some sort of undead aboleth. And as it's there, just watching you, and you've decided that the end of the conversation has been reached, Farewell reaches over to Eclipse of the Moon and blesses her lash knife. It is now a holy weapon. And what are the rest of you guys doing in preparation? I will point out that if you choose anything that's aggressive, I will tell you, because that will start the combat. Now you can choose to start the combat with a particular action or whatever. That's one thing that this creature does seem to be able to give you, that it will not start fulfilling its geas until you have done something to provoke it. And the only one that you know is attack it, is one of the provocations.
Aight. Well then, I will cast Blink on myself.
Sure. Yeah, okay. Anybody else?
I mean, I am.
No.
Can I ready an action? Essentially, I ready myself. Can I hide? Why did you give me a glowing thing, the Farewell?
Because you wanted an extra 2d8 damage to add to your fucking sneak attack.
That is exactly what you wanted. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I also want to be able to do my sneak attack, and for that I need advantage.
Well,
Or
you
for one
should
of
have
us
advantage as
in
long as
combat
one of
with
us
it.
is close enough, so...
No. Can I hide, Simon?
No. You're lit up like a Christmas tree. And it has to be said, the aboleth does take up most of the room.
Yes.
That was
Well,
also
I-
another one of the reasons why I did it, because I was like, there's no actual cover here.
There
It
are
is-
some
There's a bunch of
boxes.
boxes.
There are some boxes, yeah.
Yeah, but I imagine the aboleth is like
Up in the
floating
air,
Exactly
in a
that.
suspended
It has
in an
giant
orb of water.
The water is 5 foot high. The aboleth is towering around about 20 to 30 foot above that. You could have had a check if your weapon wasn't glowing, but it would have been a difficult check.
Does it actually? Does it, because of how being dead? Does it actually see with sight, or is it like blind sight? Well, I
That's
don't
a
know
good
that.
thing to check. I will check this now. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Yes, I now know the answer to that question.
I don't. Well, I will attempt to hide anyway.
Okay. You attempt to hide, and as you're walking over to the place where you're hiding, one of its eyes just follow you. You crouch down.
It does that.
you've
Creepy, like independent thing where one eye just moves and all
Yeah.
the other two just stay the same. It's like
I mean, he's got 7 eyes, but yeah, one of the eyes follows you. You kind of hunker down behind some boxes. You've got cover. You don't feel hit.
I rolled a 19 for a 32.
I'll give you a natural 20. You don't feel hidden.
So basically, Simon devised this encounter to fuck with the rogue.
Please bear in mind, this creature has been talking to you when you are on the surface, when it couldn't see you, presumably.
Yeah.
The whole voice narrative all the way through walking through the island suggested that you can't really hide.
No. Well, I will prepare an action to attack it whenever someone else attacks it.
Sure. Anything else?
I'm
Athena.
gonna hold an Eldritch Blast or I might try a Chill Touch. Maybe.
Okay, chill touch. Sounds good.
Do I have to actually touch?
Do I have time to
No,
hold
chill
another
touch
action
is 120
because
feet.
You guys are
Yeah.
taking a while.
Do you sorry, what was that, Glory?
Can I have time to hold a spell since these guys are taking so long? Like I cast blink.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll allow that. You do notice that when you blink in and out of his existence, because you will have blinked a few times during preparation, it seems to follow you even in the ethereal realm, so the eyes are following you.
Oh, that's fine. It can follow me as long as it can't hurt me.
What was Simon? I was just
Go on,
gonna
and then
say,
I'll
I'm
finish
gonna
up with Kate. Go on.
Yeah, because I had an extra thing. Just I will set Athena to do the help action on it when we start.
Sure. So Athena is going to be harassing the aboleth.
Yeah, well.
Good to know. Yeah.
Distract it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's what it does. It goes up and starts to basically get in its business so that you have advantage on attacks. That works. Yeah.
Cool.
The Cora, with your chill touch that you mentioned. Chill touch is when I use it as Merrick, I use the definition from the monster manual, and that is that a ghostly hand goes out and kind of grapples them. And what it does is that it hits them with necrotic damage, and then they cannot gain hit points for the rest of the turn. And also, if they're undead, all attacks against you, not just the first one as with Frostbite, but all attacks against you have disadvantage.
Cool.
I like Chill Touch. It's a good spell. But yeah, it's
If they're undead.
120-foot range. Oh yeah, against undead. Yeah, it's a sweet spell. Okay, so Cora is holding Chill Touch. Glory is holding which spell?
Acid wall. And I was
Okay.
gonna ask you about a thing. Since he is suspended in the air, and when
He's
it
not
says you can
suspended
either
in
make
the
a
air.
wall or a ringed wall.
Mm-hmm.
Can
He's
I
not
what
suspended
time
in the air.
Okay, but he's in the
Yeah.
water in the air.
He's floating on a 5-foot bed of water that seems to be telekinetically drawn together, almost like a bed or a nest.
He's on it, not in it. Is he
He's
in a
on it.
column of water? So he's not in a column of water. He's just.
It It's like a pond that's 5 foot high, but
Yeah.
doesn't have any banks. It's just a telekinetic,
Right.
like a fish tank at SeaWorld, yeah. But without anything holding it in other than raw force. And he's kind of perched mostly on top of the water, like it's a bed. Some of the tentacles are slightly in the water, but mostly it's just sat on top of the water. The flesh of the aboleth is slightly slick with moisture.
Simon, I'm holding Path to the Grave for when Eclipse attacks. So as soon as I see her attack, I will release the Path to the Grave curse.
Okay, remind me what that does?
Use your channel divinity as an action to curse one creature you can see within 30 feet of you until your next turn. The next time you or an ally of yours hits the cursed creature with an attack, the creature has vulnerability to all of that attack's damage, and then the curse ends.
Ooh.
It's basically instant crit.
Yep. Like it. Okay. Who's gonna trigger?
I'm waiting
Well,
on Eclipse
Farewell
as well.
is waiting for Eclipse.
I'll trigger it. I'll go for it. Might as well be me. Whatcha?
Yeah.
Okay.
Woof,
You have the
she's cursed.
glowing
Path
lash
to the grave.
knife, so go for it.
I'm actually going to finish this combat and restart it again. And I'll get you guys to roll initiative.
Eh.
Okay. Oh, no. Or I can just completely screw it up like I just did. So not appearing in this film. Right. Give me your initiative rolls first so we can get them out the way.
14 for Farewell.
14
Okay.
for Cora as well.
Felicia.
20.
10.
Okay. We're triggering on Corinne as well. Okay, good to know. So you prepare all your attacks, and Corinne, go for the attack. As you attack, the curse goes off. Do I need to do any save, Nick?
No, it just happens. It's an
Wow.
absolute instant vulnerability.
That's disgusting.
I
Okay.
can only do it twice, technically. On a short rest, though. So in an hour, I can do it twice more.
But as a component of a coordinated attack, wow. You guys
Yeah.
got to compare notes at some point. You'll be devastating. So, Eclipse, go for your roll. Go for your attack.
And remember, your attack, when it hits, you get 2d8 to add to all of that sneak attack damage as well.
Yep.
As radiant.
And you do have advantage because at this point, Athena is in the creature's face.
Okay, I will roll my attack then. Okay, I
If you
will go
crit-
with the 18. It was not a crit, sadly. But it's an 18
Lucky.
plus 10, which is 28.
That hits.
And it says it's vulnerable damage, and it's not a crit. I can't double the amount of dice. I will just double whatever amount the total amount is, and includes my modifier as well, because vulnerability doubles all the damage.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you roll the dice
You-
once,
you-
double the total, including your modifier.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something
Ooh.
disgusting like
Ooh.
Yeah.
6d6 plus 1d4 plus 2d8 plus her dex.
Yeah. I think you've called it. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
5d6,
double.
not 66.
Oh,
but
is
yeah.
it 5d6?
5d6. Oh, that's
only 5d6.
only 5d6 is crap. Yeah.
11. Ooh, the d8s were a 7 and 8.
Nice.
I'm so sorry, Simon.
He's not that sorry. He's just happy that we've coordinated on combat for once.
Yeah. Simon, does it have to be a living thing if you send it through a teleportation circle?
Has to be willing, doesn't it?
Has to be a
Yeah.
willing creature. Living is not optional. Sorry, living is not a thing. It doesn't matter if it's living or dead. So, for example, if somebody was playing a revenant, they could go through a teleportation circle if they're willing. Or if you allied yourself with a lich, the lich could go through the teleportation circle if they were willing.
So that plus 2 plus that.
Yeah,
plus
because I'm just thinking,
that
would it
plus
be
plus
mechanically possible to send the corpse of this thing to Aunt Ideal or Aunt Insight as a present?
Oh, if it's dead, I thought you were talking about undead versus.
No,
if,
dead.
Oh,
dead.
you mean it's corpse?
Dead,
once
it's
we've
an
gutted
object.
it?
It doesn't need to be willing. It's an object.
Nice.
Oh god. Okay, so for a total of 46 damage times 2, it's 92.
Jeez.
What? 92 for this very first hit? Are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
He was the
That
one
sounds
that let
about
us
right.
spend. He let us spend 10 minutes preparing and buffing. This
mean-
is what happens when you let your clerics
Bear in mind,
round
that's
and
2
blow
turns
or-
of. Yeah, that's
Buffing,
2
that's
things
2
from
turns
Farewell
of
and
buffing.
2 things from Eclipse as an opening salvo. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So that if you give me 2 turns to buff before we start a fight, I can do.
Noted. Never giving you that again.
disgusting-
Disgusting.
That's not even the best I can do because, like I said, I came packed to basically debuff and decurse people because that's what I was expecting. So I'm not even packing my best shit.
This
Yeah.
isn't even my final holiness.
Yeah, this
But
is not
yeah,
even my final form.
Final.
Okay, so let me get this right, Nick. Was it just her attack that it's vulnerable to, or is it
All
vulnerable
damage.
to all damage?
All damage. It has full vulnerability to all damage for that one attack, and now it's gone.
Yeah. So that the entire damage, the total damage of that attack with
Cuts
the
through
vulnerability
Is
is
it-
92.
all.
Is it dead already, Simon?
All
Are we just, is
resistance.
that it?
Did you just want to?
Thank you
If
for
we
coming, everybody.
one-shotted
Rip up the
this,
campaign.
Poor Kate. She's been itching to kill something all session so far, and then one time she gets into combat, Eclipse murders it in the first turn.
Thankfully, no. Wow.
However, it's not that fucking far off.
Yeah, I mean, it's still alive, but
However,
Okay.
my and Cora's and me and Cora's hold action will also go off.
Oh yeah, you're holding action, so it will be
Yep.
Acid Wall and Chill Touch next.
yep.
I'm willing to let Cora hit first.
You might as well, because you know my couple of bits of damage might.
It might kill it, so I'm gonna let you take the glory this time. Also, it will be harder for you to hit it once I throw up an opaque
Yeah,
acid
that's
wall
kind of what I was
around it.
thinking too. Okay, 22 to hit.
Hits.
Is that right? Attack plus 7. Yeah.
How does it
Yeah.
react to all this? It's mostly like radiant damage and magical damage.
This
He
this
just
holy
got
radiant
switch
knife just
kebabbed by a
flies
lash
towards.
knife.
Yeah. This is a surprise round, so it hasn't reacted at all.
Okay, so no screaming or anything.
Nope.
Not
It's
yet.
just-
It hasn't gone enough seconds
Yeah.
for that to happen.
Mhm.
Okay, I do it 7 damage.
Hey!
Doubled to 14. Yeah.
No.
no.
Vulnerability's gone.
No.
After
Oh,
Eclipse's
It was
attack.
only one attack.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
only one
thank
attack.
God.
Unless-
Okay,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah. It is not permanently vulnerable. It is only for that one attack.
Okay, feeling slightly better about this encounter now.
I am assuming it's not undead, but I don't know. Is it?
It is
Oh,
undead.
it's very undead.
Okay.
It's
so
undead. So it can't regain hit points, which is
I think it
why
does
when you
that
were there, like, oh, I'll
anyway.
use chill touch, I was like, I'm screwed.
Yeah. That's whether it's undead or not. That's just it can't regain hit points. But
Yeah.
if it's
Oh, yeah.
also
That happens
undead,
to everything.
it also has disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the end of your next turn. So.
Yeah. So if it tries anything on you, I have to roll with disadvantage.
Yeah.
Good.
Glory.
I'm gonna
Acid
throw up
wall.
an acid wall
Acid
that
wall.
hurts on the
Acid.
inside. Okay.
You do
So-
realise now that every combat we're going to have for like the rest of the time that we're playing is all ambushes. Nothing but ambushes.
Yeah.
We're
ambush
just
background.
I'm
we're all gonna have
getting
to,
that
we're all gonna have to
bonus
invest in
next
the
time.
alert feat.
Yep.
Seriously, we're all going to have to get the alert feat, and we're all just going to spend the rest of the campaign just being constantly jumped and surprised by enemies.
Yeah. Okay. So, when the wall appears, each creature within its area must make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
I need more d8s.
So that was a total of... Oh, hang on. Does it have a thing?
Does it have a thing?
It doesn't have a thing. That is an 11.
Yeah, he's taking the
Because
full burn.
Fuck me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how many d8s did
I
I
like how
say?
it's like, oh, I'm gonna devour you guys. It's gonna be so sad. Dies.
Hello. Meat, lash knife, and acid.
Yeah, it's like we're all stood there like being quite nonchalant about the whole thing, and then he's like, "Why are you so confident?" It's like, "Hello, have you met us?"
Yeah.
It's like
You haven't
it's
seen
not
our
just the
greatest
fact
hit,
that we don't have main character plot armor. However, we do have a metric fuck ton of spells.
12, 15, 21, 28. Yeah. And then plus 5.
Simon has also now just
33.
doubled the monster's hit points whilst we've been doing all of this,
Yep,
just to make the combat last a little while.
It's
It's
all
like-
on campaign lab. It's all as per campaign lab.
It's just like, yeah, well, you thought this was the big bad, but enter, please, and this, and then this, and then this, and...
And what happens is he gets...
It's the second Abaleth.
It gets Kate to change the music into like something out of Dark Souls, and like you watch as it takes on a second form, and you're like, "Welcome to Phase 2, motherfuckers."
Let's see here. 30.
I did mention my twin.
This is one step beyond.
There we go. So he takes 33
now that the
acid
map is
damage.
finished. How much?
33.
33. So 33 is that much? Okay, cool.
And
you can
if it ends its turn within 10 feet of the inside of the wall, it will take 33 more damage.
And then it takes more damage when it goes out, doesn't it? When it goes through.
It also takes 33 damage if it tries to go through the wall.
Okay. So, this was your surprise round. So, Eclipse throws out the lash knife, and just as she does so, Athena comes down and rakes at one of the eyes. Now, the attack doesn't do any damage, but it does make the Aboleth flinch in the last second. As it does so, it turns its head, and the lash knife gets itself into a soft spot underneath the face of the creature. At that point, you can hear this grunt from Eclipse as she pulls back, and this glowing, radiant chain just gets pulled across, cutting the throat of the creature, spilling out gore into the water below, and returning back to her hand, and you can see she's got this glowing coil of chain. Just as that happens, you can see Cora flick her hand out, and as she does so, this kind of illusionary hand flies from her own hand and grabs hold of part of the aboleth. And as it does so, you watch as it kind of dissolves in these reds and oranges into the flesh of the creature itself, causing this strange pattern under its skin. And at that point, when that hits, you just watch as Glory just does this gesture, and the aboleth itself becomes completely obscured by this rolling liquid wall of acid. Yeah. And you watch as a tentacle breaks through the wall momentarily, and you can see that it's blistered to all hell, that the flesh is just sloughing away from, well, what is more flesh, because there's not much of a skeleton to an aboleth. It's mostly tentacles. So that was your surprise round. Now, Corinne, you have an obscured target, but you do still have Athena helping you.
Yes.
Not quite. An acid wall just went off.
Though, to be fair, she has flyby, so she would probably gone out of range before that. Well,
Okay, but she can't do the help action now, because if she enters that area, she'll just go poof the second she gets in. Okay, I will allow that, because she's an owl, and only because she's an owl, and she has flyby, I will allow that. Any other, familiar, I would not have allowed. So yeah, it's obscured. I mean, it's a big bloody target, but it is obscured, which means you will get disadvantage on trying to effectively blind fight.
Yeah, this is the bad
To
thing
be
about it.
fair, we've done that before. It's not that hard.
Well,
It's not the highest
really
AC.
bad thing is whenever I have disadvantage, I cannot have my sneak attack at all, which is really crippling.
By the way, let me just
You
point
just had
out
a turn where you've done
that
96
Ian
damage.
died,
One turn rolling
within
1
10
d4 while
feet of
doing it.
Farewell upstairs earlier, so he should have a finesse point he could just hand over to Eclipse to do her crazy all over Blade Fury.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting. Is that an interest? That's an interesting point.
Yeah, but it's
would
just
I have
one
got
target,
from
so
them?
it doesn't matter. It's just one target, so.
Yeah, but it attacks everything within 15 feet, so.
Yeah, I'm still at disadvantage, so that doesn't help. But yes, I will do a attack at disadvantage and correct. Oh shit. I rolled a 3 and a 5. So 13.
You manage to hit something when you're in there, and as you pull away, you go, oh, probably didn't hit something vital. You weren't a million miles away from its AC, but it is quite tough. So, yeah, remember, this is a big creature. It's got hit points. Well, not as many as it did have, rather than AC. So, that's your turn, unless you have anything for your bonus action.
I mean, can I
Did you?
try?
Oh, you missed, didn't you?
Yeah.
Ignore me.
Yeah.
Remember, on all successful hits, you do get 2d8. So it is, once you don't get sneak attack, you do get that 2d8.
Yeah.
Can I try hiding now when it can't see us?
You can try.
Hmm.
Roll to hide.
23.
Okay, noted. Right. At the end of your turn, it's going to use one of its legendary actions.
Yay, legendary reactions.
Ooh, actually, I think this is a milestone moment for us. I think this is the first creature we've ever fought with legendary action.
It is, and it's not going to be as spectacular as I thought it was going to be. So the you see a tail swipe out of the miasma, the wall, in your direction, as it thrashes about from the original acid attack, and it's going to go for. Looking at the position, it's going to go for glory, actually.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm in the ethereal realm.
Well,
Oh,
have you rolled for that, Felicia? Have you rolled
Yes.
to see if you are?
Okay.
Yes.
In that case, no. In that case, it lashes out to Cora. It's going to be with disadvantage. Okay. So let's go for its tail swipe. Tentacle tail. Disadvantage. Probably a good thing it's a disadvantage. It does a 16 hit.
Yeah, 16's my armor class, so yes.
Okay.
Is that
Take
right?
19 points of bludgeoning damage as this giant tail comes out and just wham! Body checks you.
Boof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I, because why not? Is this
Doesn't
the
it
right
have
thing?
disadvantage on the attacks? Because
Yes,
it went
it-
for Cora.
Yes, it
Oh,
had
sorry.
disadvantage on
He
that. Yeah.
rolled that, yeah. I hellish rebuke it.
Rebuke.
Rebuke, yeah.
Yes.
It is my.
I've got to
last
make a
spell
dex
slot,
saving
so-
throw, is it?
Oh, should I do this?
Yeah,
Oh
dex
well, I said it
save.
now.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Go on,
You
it's
need
it's
to make a
like
dex save.
at 5th level. It's like shit tons of d10s in it.
6.
I have
Yeah.
failed.
Six
I have
D10.
failed. I know I failed because he has a -1 dex because he's that big, and it's a 8 on the dice, so 7. Roll for damage.
Come on, Kate. Big rolls. Big rolls.
Yeah, you have a good hellish rebuke.
Yeah, level 5. It's how many d10s? It's like 5, isn't it?
It's 6
What's it?
apparently. So
Six
is
D10.
26 points of damage.
Fire, yeah.
Yes.
I think it's your
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
It's your choice
Oh,
of
it
fire
seems-
or ice, I think.
I think it shows fire next to it, so
I'm going to say fire
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
of the summer court anyway.
it makes
so,
sense that it would be fire for Cora.
Yeah, this tail, it whams straight up against Cora, but as the tail moves away, it's being cooked. In fact, the fin at the end of the tail is ash by the time it returns to the other side of the acid wall. And the rest of it is blackening. So you just watch as it hits Cora, and this mantle of flame just erupts from her and passes into it. The full flame of the summer court pours into this creature. Okay, so that was its legendary action. Acid applies at the end of the turn.
Yep.
Felicia?
When it ends, it turn.
Okay. Okay.
But that was a legendary action, so it wasn't
was a
actually
legendary
its
action.
turn.
Yep, now
Yeah.
it's its turn. So, on its turn, I need to check a few things. That's... Hello, everyone. Okay. You guys have managed to do a Rorschach on this guy, because he was convinced that you were stuck in there with him.
He didn't realize he was stuck in here with us.
Yeah, like I say, you
You're
guys have
trapped
pulled a
in here
Rorschach.
with us.
I guess he's gonna do what he can. You guys don't realize how perfectly you have played this. I'll explain it
Yeah.
after
Oh,
his
yeah.
inevitable death. So first of all, let's just do what he does best, and I'm going to make a tentacle attack on Eclipse, Cora, and Farewell. So let's do this.
I
the first
am
one-
not hidden there.
On Farewell. Farewell, does a 17 hit you?
Nope. My AC is 19.
Okay.
Look at
Uh,
my shiny new shield, and I'm like, no, motherfucker.
Yep. As the tentacle comes up, shield goes up, wham! And you just there, just take the tentacle.
Your armor class is 20, isn't it?
Is it a +1 shield that you gave me? If it's... Unless it's...
Because it says 20 on... let's see here. You have 15 from the mithril, 2 dexterity, 1 for armored bonus fighting style, and then 2 for the shield.
no,
damn
no,
you,
no,
Kate.
ignore that. Ignore that. That's
Okay,
wrong.
so something is wrong.
That's pulling the wrong info.
Yeah.
So, the 21 would have hit Kate, and then I remembered she used chill touch this turn, so I had to apply advantage, and the 21 rolled down to an 11. Does an 11 hit, Kate? No, it doesn't,
No.
does it? No.
No.
Oh. Fine.
Sorry.
This makes me sad. The final tentacle lashes out at Eclipse of the Moon. Does a 14 hit Eclipse?
No.
I just wanted to hit one of you. Just one of you with the tentacle. That's all I ask. Was just a quick tentacle action. That's all I want.
Go for it,
yes.
But no.
Yes, because you
Yeah.
want to curse us so we can only breathe underwater. Oh.
Okay. So, yeah, the first tentacle clangs against Farewell's shield. The second one goes towards Cora, and just as it looks like it's about to hit, this flare of reds and oranges goes along the tentacle, and for anybody who's watching, a similar flare of orange light appears in Cora's eyes. And suddenly, she just hits the deck like a rogue would, and the tentacle just straight over the top. And the final one goes out to lash at Eclipse, and Eclipse just ducks behind a box, and the box just gets knocked out of the way. So, that's its action.
Murder time is fun time!
As the tentacles retreat into the wall, you watch as they start to become ghostly, and by the time they get pulled inside, they are this strange purple light. And let me check to make sure this is correct.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Yep. The body floats above the acid wall to the roof of the cavern, just about out of reach of the acid wall, but it's now pinned in place. And this writhing tentacle mass, now ghostly in appearance, says, "Impressive. Maybe you'll be able to set us free." And you have a feeling that when he says us, he's not just meaning him and Silk Whisper. At which point, he turns, looks at Eclipse of the Moon, absolutely Eclipse, you are not hidden at all from this thing. He looks at you and says, "Ikathos, I am no longer. Eclipse of the Moon, name me." And that's his action over.
Oh, God.
Kate, it is your action.
No. The turn is over. He takes 30 free damage because
I
he
told
is
you.
within the
He
wall.
floated above the wall.
I told you he floated above the wall.
Is the cave that high?
Yep. He is currently a writhing spectral mass in the roof of the wall. At the roof of the island.
Sadness. Weird.
I will hold an Eldritch Blast and wait for what, look for a sign from Corinne, not from Corinne, from Eclipse to use it.
You're gonna have to name the trigger.
If she attacks, I might
Okay.
or I can't do an or. Yeah, if she sends an attack.
Sure, done. So, at the end of your turn, Kate, he is going to attempt. Oh, can he do that? No, he can't do that. Excuse me a second. Problem with boss monsters, they have a lot of things they can do. Nope, he can't do bugger all. So next up is Nick. What are you doing, sir?
Right, so he's currently pinned at the top in his ethereal form, right?
That's correct.
I'll take the knife. Well, first of all, I will use my bonus action to give my point to Eclipse,
Sure.
so that she's now got one. And I take the knife and I slash in front of me, and I use my ethereal step to, in effect, bamf over here.
Sure. Yep. So you guys watch as the obsidian knife just comes out with wreathed in dark energy, and stepping forward, farewell slashes at the air, tears a hole in this plane, and a similar rip appears across the room, and he steps into one rip and out of the other.
Cool, that's my turn.
Okay. Continues to do nothing. Felicia.
Yes. He's being quite rude not dying to my acid wall.
Yeah, in all fairness, he had to really scupper himself in order to do so.
Yes. I guess. And he's inferior. Does that mean he can take damage or not?
Ethereal creatures can take damage, but they are immune to some damage as well.
Right. I know that the radiant and
He's
the
not in the
psychic
ethereal
were-
plane, he's just an ethereal form, like fighting a ghost, for example.
Yeah. I'm just thinking what I even can do if that's the case. I'll just hold an acid ball in case he comes out of it.
Okay.
Not
Please tell me your
much
trigger.
more I can do.
Please tell me your trigger.
He comes out of ethereal form.
Okay, yeah. When he becomes physical form again, you're going to hit him with an acid. Done.
Yeah.
Which level acid ball?
Normal 3rd level.
Sure. Okay. So that's your thing, and I had to check the specifics of the rules here. There is something that he could have done on a 20, But it says here 20 losing initiative ties, and Corinne is on 20 as well. So the layer action goes off after Corinne. So Corinne, what are you doing?
I will shout out to the aboleth and say, "Your name is regret," and do my lash knife, and also distract it.
Yep. So that Athena Athena flies up to it, and attempts to distract it. Roll with advantage.
16 should. Ooh, 19 plus 10.
Yeah, hits.
29. This time, not with vulnerability.
Sadness.
Oh. 6 plus 4. 11. That's 20. That's 11. It's 31. 6 is 37.
Okay. You throw out your
magical holy damage.
how much of it is radiant?
So 10 of it is radiant.
Okay. You throw out your lash knife, and the lash knife passes through the body with seemingly no effect. And then you do notice that something does seem to distort the form, and it's actually the radiant damage on its body. So it's used an ability called Void Body. So he's used his reaction to reduce the damage from a single source, i.e. your attack, to 0. But it says here, radiant damage can only be reduced by... So the 10 that you did 5 points of damage to it.
Okay.
So it did do some damage. When this radiant damage goes through it, it seems to distort its form. And there's this flare. And it fades to near imperceptible. Not an invisibility effect or anything like that, but incredibly, incredibly weak. At this point, the trigger goes off, and Cora releases her attack. So what is your attack, Cora?
It was just an Eldritch Blast this time.
Okay, let me just check something. Yeah, yep, go for it.
Is its name regret? Did I get that right?
21 to hit.
Yes, it hits. Roll for damage. This is the first bolt.
10 damage.
Okay. As you throw this flick of telekinetic force, this manifestation of pure will, the bolt hits, and you get ready for the continuing barrage of force. But you realize, let me just check something. You realize that you have done enough. The form starts to crackle and erode, and you can see as this thing starts to fade. There's a very weak, whispery voice that says, I wish you had listened to my story. And it fades completely from view. And then from the other side of the acid wall, there's this splash as the telekinetically held water floods through the chamber. It doesn't do much. By the time it gets to you, it's only a couple of feet high. The only person who's really affected by it is Cora, who's only a couple of feet. So she's kind of soaked from head to foot. Everybody else is kind of.
No, I was going to say I Farewell's instinctive thing, no matter how much, would be to use his racial ability of like control water to just sort of like stop it and then just gently have it come down.
Around Cora. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh no, whip. And it's just 2 lines around her.
And
Simon, what's the name correct? It seems like that my guess got lost and I didn't get any response to it.
No, he gave his response. You said that his name was Regret, and he said, "I do wish you had listened to my story."
Which I did. I listened.
The acid wall is still up, but when the acid wall drops, Glory will be relieved to see the body of the aboleth.
Yes!
Burnt, blistered, blasted.
Oh, that's just good.
The void body. Once it drops the void body, it reappears. Because it dies, it reappears in its old spot.
Oh.
Did I get the name or not, Simon?
You've got the answer.
You got it wrong.
Yeah.
You got it wrong.
Did I? Yes or no, Simon? Did I get it wrong?
Okay, well the character told you, but yes, you got the name wrong.
The character said, "I wish you'd listened," which says no, basically.
Well, I did, by you being so cryptic about it.
It's an enigma. You chose an
it's a
enigma
mystery.
storyline. So yeah.
I go and remembering what he said at the story before, I very carefully begin to sort of gut it. The idea is that I want to basically make as gentle an incision as I can so that I don't spoil it. Watching as Glory's probably jumping up and down on the spot that she's so happy. I'm like joy that the corpse is still there.
Because it's not a thing that she can control. She's jumping up and down, but every now and again blinking out of existence for about a minute. So she's like, "We did it! We 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 did it!"
I'm keeping this. This is mine.
Yeah, and
Please?
I would like to retrieve for Eclipse the item that it said was in its gun.
Yes.
It's said that it's in its gizzard. You're not quite sure what the gizzard of an aboleth is, but you give an educated guess. The cut is clean, and you do see that there are some bones there. There's like a skeleton. You fish around, and the first thing that you find is a large. Well, I say large. Actually, it's not large. Sorry, it's a regular-sized, slightly curved blade. Statistically, it's a longsword. And it seems to have like an elegant sweep to it, more like a saber, I would probably describe it as. But statistically, it is a long. And you pick it up. It looks lovely, and considering it's spent quite some time in the gullet, in the gizzard of this abomination, you there saying, "Yeah, this has got to be magical to keep in this condition." So you have a sword, quite clearly magical sword. You do recover elements of this skeleton, and what you think is its head, when you pull it out, turns out to be the object of Eclipse's desire. And Eclipse, you watch as Farewell extracts a canopic jar.
I hand it over to her.
I'll take it.
The canopic jar looks like the previous one that you had. The previous one was slightly ornate. It was quite humble, but it had some sort of decoration. This has less decoration, and it has a snarling figure looking at another figure.
Just to question Simon, in case you, the name I gave did not match any of the synonyms either.
No. No, as I said before, when these trials they ask you to name them, I will accept all the synonyms of that, and I wrote I looked up the synonym for the name that I have given this, and unfortunately, regret was not on the. Okay. So.
Sorry, it's two heads snarling at one another.
No, one snarling face looking at another figure.
And the other figure is Serene, or
Just a figure. It seems to be that the art on there is slightly abstract. So the figure is the figure that is snarling is slightly more ornate, like it's the primary figure, and it has this kind of bitter rictus on its face. And it's just looking at another figure, and the other figure may as well be a stick man. It's like a silhouette, like it's not that important. And so, yeah, the canopic jar is now able to be added to the previous one, so you now have 2 Eclipse, and you have a undead aboleth corpse.
I don't think I can pick that up, by the way.
No, I am drawing the circle around it. And writing a really nice note to my aunt, because, this is good shit.
Technically,
Do you have a spell
I have
slot?
I
Yes,
have
I
sending.
do. I have 2.
I have sending. I could send her a message as I've met her.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Would you rather I do that than just drop a giant abyssal corpse in her garden with a note pinned to it?
I give him a look, thinking, no,
That's
of
the
course
best
of course she wants to do that. That's part of it.
That's the best part. It's not her garden. You've got 2 circles, Glory. Are you going to dump it in your family manor or in the public teleportation?
Family manner, please.
I just like the idea. I just love the idea of the Blackguard shitting themselves as this fucking aboleth appears in the middle of the teleportation circle.
But it's got like on like cartoons where they've got like that tiny square of paper like pinned to their chest.
Yeah.
No.
That's just like
It's
a note. That's what it's gonna.
Roll tied to one of the tentacles with a giant ribbon.
The ribbon only being noticed as an afterthought after they've had a panic attack and cast many eldritch blasts at the things because the entire Blackguard are hex blades. They're like, oh, kill it! Is that a ribbon?
Do you want me to cast sending and tell her this
If
is
you
coming?
would please tell her that in a moment there will be a present showing up at the manor.
Okay. I use sending to basically, in a very polite way, convey
You've
that
got to say the
Glory
line,
has... What's your aunt's name again?
Insight.
Archmagister Insight.
Yes.
Thank you. Fine. People. Sort of looks down, places a hand on his arcane symbols. Archmagister Insight, this is farewell, bare bones. Glory has a gift for you, a rather unusual one. Sorry. And that's all he says.
Sure, that's under the 20 words, so that's fine.
Yeah. Perfect.
You get with the reply a sense of bemusement where you hear Ambassador Barebone. I never expected a private communique from you.
Neither did he.
Yeah, you watch Farewell physically shudder. like a full body shudder.
Oh,
I
don't worry, Farewell. My family likes you by now.
I eagerly await my present. Thank you so much. And
You
that's
better
all you
say
get.
it now.
Mm-hmm.
She's waiting.
Good. She will love it.
It takes you a full minute to get the circle ready, and probably another minute to write the note. You put the note on. I'm going to say that Glory's got ribbon. Of course, Glory's got ribbon. She ties it onto the tentacle and engages the circle, and you guys just watch as this massive tentacles just in what I can consider a full body hiccup just goes and just gets pulled into the center of the circle.
Well, that's that taken care of.
The duck?
Ah,
And I start to head up towards where the duck was left.
Hold on.
What?
There's a cave
Envy.
down here, and I think we should just.
I head
Make
straight down
sure.
that cave. It's like,
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
yeah.
watch as she just runs straight past Farewell. And the thing is, she's dressed like a full-on admiral pirate, like Barbossa in
Oh, yeah,
one of the
she's
films where he's got that giant hat.
No, which
She's got this
Barbossa, yeah.
giant pirate hat, giant Barbossa style pirate hat, and I imagine it's got one of those, like giant peacock feathers that come out the top of it, and she's just stomps down there, come on then.
You address the part, Cora, because you walk into a smuggler's bay. This has a small set of rowing boats that are all in quite heavy disarray. And no word of a lie, this was pre-written a long, long time ago, as in the start of the campaign. So you go and have a look around in here, and you can see that amongst these rowing boats, there's a small, familiar brick-shaped object.
we got another boat!
yes!
And I go pick it up.
You pick it up,
Build a fleet.
and it's written in a language that actually Cora understands because it's Elvish. And it says the whimsy on it, and there's two sets of words. There is it's foray and voyage.
Who wants to be captain of this one? Okay, I'll be an admiral. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Farewell raises his hands. Technically, you would already be the admirable. Admirable.
I would be
Yeah, he's gonna go with that. He goes.
The
He goes. You're very admirable, but you are already the admiral.
English escapes me.
I'm fucking English and it escapes me.
Yeah. So
Actually,
the last folding boat
Farewell
you got
goes-
was a random roll on the treasure table that you got when you invaded the initiative. But this was always supposed to be here. This is how you're supposed to get off the island. So yeah, you now have two.
Yeah. We have two.
I go. Actually, no. Isn't the proper naval rank Commodore? So you'd be
Maybe.
like,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I knew that.
you are, and I Farewell does this really over the top, deep bow, and he's like, Commodore.
You notice a pair of epaulets appear on Cora's shoulders.
Right. Let's go see what else.
Anything
is
else of
here.
interest in here?
Yeah. I'm looking
No,
around.
the other boats seem to be in form of disarray. The only
There
thing
were a
I'll
few
give you with
more
your passive perception.
buildings up top we could
Oh, yes,
check
yeah.
out.
Did
Yes,
we?
whole other
So
layer.
did we
Passive
get
ins-
the? Did we get the scabbard from?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've got that in my
Yes.
hand. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
I'm still holding on to that. Do you want it, Eclipse?
I'll have a look at it because I can use short swords if it's a short sword.
It's
It's
a
a
long
long sword.
Oh, it's a long sword. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
That
It's
makes sense.
something that I said when he pulled it out, that it statistically is a longsword. It looks like a saber, like a cavalry saber, but statistically it's a longsword.
Okay, so it's useless then. Great. We could sell it, I guess.
I
Um,
affixed it to my belt anyway, just so I don't have to hold it on to anything. My passive investigation is 18, and I've got passive investigation is 18. So
The only thing that you pick up from here, Farewell, other than the boat, which I just kind of said, yeah, you've seen it because of your stats, you do see that there are markings in the silt that these boats are resting on that quite clearly denotes where the aboleth would go in and out of. So you can see that the aboleth has recently pulled its body either into or out of this direction. So this was its way of getting in and out of. So
I
if we
can
if we go up to
I
the
guess
top,
Yeah.
I guess I can't try to guess another name because I had more time to think.
well, you can do whatever you want. It's just when it asked you for the name was the moment that it would be able to confirm to you whether it was or not.
I go up to the wall, Simon, where all of the names are written, and I'm looking for Ikathon and his love's name to see if it's on the wall.
You do not find it.
I then take the dagger and I carve his name and her name into the wall. And then in Primordial I write, "May your life's jealousy not follow you into the beyond."
So you're writing Ikathon and Silk Whisper, yeah?
Silk Whisper, yeah. And then underneath that in Primordial it says, "May your jealousy not follow you to the beyond."
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Noted. Because acts like this mean things to gods. Yes. Sure. That's their names are now placed within the temple. And this is a place where people would go and perform a holy vigil. So, you head back up. I've changed the map over to the surface map now. And you did mention that there were 2 buildings that you hadn't explored. I assume that you would like to?
Yes.
Before we do that, what are we gonna do about our current very angry duck?
Well, has it been 2 hours?
No.
No.
You've got like an hour and a half left.
Yeah, it's an angry duck.
It's quacking in a chest tied with rope. We can still just drown it. She'd die.
Yeah, but
If we
she's
can
undead,
take a
right?
short rest, I can get some of my stuff back, and so can Cora, and and
I feel like
Yeah,
she
you
needs
got a
releasing
short
as well.
rest.
Yeah, like we can't just lock her in a.
Oh, no. She's not a duck anymore. She hasn't been a duck since she raised the acid wall.
Is that one concentration?
acid wall is concentration.
They both are.
I think it is.
So we come up and
Yeah.
the chest is rattling and
Oh,
rattling.
the chest is like
The chest is violently shaking
Hissing
as
like
the
a cat.
undead inside. Yep, there's a hissing coming from inside. Unfortunately, she can't use any of her abilities because she needs to move her limbs. So all you see is this violently shaking chest that's held in place by all of the things that Farewell put around it.
How horribly contorted must she be in there? I mean, it was not a big chest. It's not a big
cat.
chest.
She's
I
smaller
chill
than she
touch?
looks.
Through the chest, or do I need to be able to see it? I don't see a thing that says a creature you see. It says a
you need
creature
to be able
within
to see.
range.
Ooh.
It just says within range.
If that's true, it will be with disadvantage, but you can do it. Let me check.
Pretty sure she fills up the entire chest.
Yeah, I mean, I could literally stand like through the chest.
Actually, that's a good point. You can't see her, which means it's blind fighting, but you know where she is.
Yeah.
Seeing that she's being zip filed into a chest. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm good with
I could miss her, I suppose, but.
Yeah, you create a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within range. Make a ranged attack spell against the creature to assail it with a chill of the grave. Yeah, you pretty much can just sit on top of the chest and pour necrotic energy into this thing.
I mean, I don't know if that's I was just gonna do that to, like, start to whittle down, but, like, I don't know, it feels weird. She'll do it once, and then she'll be like, this feels like drowning puppies. I don't like it. Can we let her out and let her fight?
As she says drowning puppies, you hear this inside. World's most fucked up puppy.
Yeah. It's like, I'll be like, Farewell, can you do anything to make this easier? Quicker?
Glory, do you just want to melt the box?
Well,
I
we
suppose
do
that
want
would be possible.
we do want her blades apparently. So if we can not
maybe don't
melt
melt
If
it.
they're
everything-
magical, they'll survive some acid.
I mean, if they're magical, they'll be fine. Okay.
I mean, I do
some
6
Do you
damage
want
if
me-
it matters, that first thing.
Sure.
Do you want me to open the box, Eclipse?
It,
It's your
I
call.
mean,
You know she's going to go straight for you, right? So you might want to hide.
yeah, and I think we're gonna have to do that next session.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's 11 o'clock.
It is 11 o'clock. Just briefly, so you were going up against a Nihilith, which is an undead aboleth. Yes, the preparation that you guys had, where this very up himself figure decided that you weren't going to chew through all 135 hit points, up until the point where you had that blistering 90 whatever it was damage. After that, it had resistance to a lot of what you sent up against it. Had resistance to acid even. But yeah, if it had stayed in the acid wall, even with resistance, it would have died out. Thankfully, it has the ability to turn into a dual state, and it was able to move through the air out of the acid. It didn't manage to use its void aura because it couldn't get close enough to any of you. It couldn't use its infecting telepathy. It didn't manage to do its withering touch because you killed it when it went into ethereal form. You managed to defeat its 3 tentacle attacks. Its tail attack did do some damage to Cora, but then Cora did far more damage to it with the Eldritch Blast. On a 20, on initiative order 20, which if Corinne had 1 less initiative, it would have blown up all the zombies on the island and absorbed their essence and gained back a vast amount of hit points. So each of those zombies was actually a healing potion for it. So when it said, "Oh, I'm not going to bother attacking you with these zombies anymore," it said clearly it cares about the zombies a little bit. All the zombies that had fled into the water, it was just like, "Stay in the water. I'll use you to regain hit points." It couldn't do that in the first turn because someone, Cora, used Chill Touch, which means it couldn't regain hit points. And then by the time it got around to the point where it could use it, Eclipse had beaten it literally to the punch on the same, by winning the draw on 20, had managed to hit it, got it down to a certain point, and that 5 damage took it from 7 to 2 hit points, so that when Cora triggered because Eclipse had attacked, it was on 2 hit points. And that was it. That was yibbida yibbida. That's all, folks. So really amazingly done. All the way through this encounter, I've been trying to get one of these damned zombies to touch you so that I can start you going through a whole pain of psychic damage and becoming a thrall and all the rest of it. And I didn't manage to land a single hit on you because of Glory's widespread damage and all this other ridiculousness as well. So we will pick up with the peaceful end, hopefully, of Silk Whisper.
Peaceful.
Yes, of dealing with Schrodinger's cat, but not
Yes,
the same
the literal Schrodinger's
cat.
But we know it's dead and undead and not
We know it's both dead and alive at the same time in the box.
and undead. It's actually a 3-state
And
Schrodinger's.
undead.
Yeah.
Unlike
so-
the time we had Eclipse being the Schrodinger's cat as she was hidden amongst the boxes and dead.
Yep. That was very dead. Yes. So. Anyway, you guys played a blinder tonight. Well done. That was a CR12 creature. And by just taking that one moment of preparation, thanks to narrative, you guys went from potentially having a really bad time. I mean, this could do some nasty stuff. I'll link it to you later. To effectively almost one-shotting. Almost. So, for anybody who's watching, I'm afraid I was running a lot of the encounter, so I haven't been watching the chat. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm hoping that you this strange turn of events as we probe a little deeper into Eclipse's fascination with a figure from Illyrian history. We will be finishing up with this island and heading off to Adventures New next week with episode 64. Until then, take care of yourself. Don't do as I do. Anybody who's been on the Discord knows exactly what I mean. And look after yourself. Remember, you only get this one life. And we will see you next week. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.